So we've all heard of the name Andrew Gwynn by now. He's the ex Under Secretary of State for Health who was sacked by comments he made in a WhatsApp group called Trigger Me Timbers, saying amongst other things that he hoped a pensioner would die before the next election because she was a Tory. Well, what fewer people would know is that 11 people followed him out. Uh, they were other participants of the 44 people in that group, all of them Labour councillors in Tameside and Stockport. So let's uh, name and shame. Let me find out where the list is. Here we go. So from Tameside, this is so people you know who not to vote for in the next by-elections. So
Okay.
in Tameside, it was Claire Reid, Jack Naylor, George Newton, Vincent Ricci, Charlotte Martin, Alison Gwen, George Jones, Brenda Warrington, Denise Ward, and from Stockport, David Sedgwick and Holly McCormack. They were all uh, suspended because of the comments that they made in contributing to the comments that Andrew Gwynn made. So they've all been suspended, like I said, until Labour can figure out how they can all fill in the void. They haven't been sacked; they've been suspended.
Yeah.
So until Labour can find out how to fill in that void that they'll leave if they were sacked, they're just in sort of sat in the background a little bit.
Mm.
Andrew Gwynn's wife was one of them in the mix, and she was suspended. She was one of the councillors. Remember, we did the podcast about how different civil servants and politicians are related to each other.
Yes. Yeah.
There you are. They
Okay. Well then.
you've got another one. Uh, Another MP, Oliver Ryan, was also suspended from from the Labour from being an MP or being a Labour member. So Starmer had to find a replacement for Gwynn. A name that came out of nowhere, at least for me, uh, is this one, Ashley Dalton, MP for West Lancashire. So who is she? Who is this Angela Ashley Dalton? Ms. Dalton, that was going to give you a little start to know a little
Okay.
bit about her. Ms. Dalton worked on Southend-on-Sea's council for 17 years.
Use the name.
As what? It's unclear.
Yeah.
Don't know what she did there, but decided to chance her arm in full-blown politics and entering the Rochford and Southend East races for MP in 2017 and 2019 and lost both times.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. In 2023, she entered in the West Lancashire by-election because Rosie Cooper resigned, and she was also so she won that one in 2023 and was re-elected in 2024. So she's an MP. Her personal profile mentions absolutely nothing about her being trained in medicine because this is for the Under Secretary of State for Health.
Yeah. Okay.
But of course, her not being trained in medicine is a mere detail when you're Keir Starmer, as we've seen with the lack of experience of Rachel Reeves in the economy, who we found out recently that Rachel Reeves is lying on LinkedIn, said that she worked in a bank for 10 years when we found out it was only 5.
Okay.
That's a recent one, you know. So using the same parameters, using a non-medically trained individual to serve as a health minister seems to be par for the course this time round.
Unusual, but yeah. Okay.
Well, but to be fair to Ms. Dalton, she has been ill, so I suppose she has had some medical experience, even though it was a case of 1, 2, 3 times a day. She's a cancer survivor and lost her husband to kidney cancer in 2018.
Oh, goes out to her for that one. Yeah. Okay.
She said his cancer was caught too late.
Mm.
If only she had more experience, she would have caught it in time.
Well,
Well, so after that episode, she turned to her sisters for support. And I don't mean the senior nurses on the wards. She became a lesbian, which one does apparently. After your husband dies, you become a lesbian. Why
well,
not?
I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
She's against gendered toilets, believes women can have penises, and declares that if somebody says they feel like a llama, they're a llama. What can possibly go wrong? I found out recently that her breast cancer has come back, and I can say this because I'm not an MP, and I can say this because no policeman has knocked on the door of Mr. Gwyn's house. Hopefully, she'll be dead by the next elections. That was brutal. That was brutal.
Yeah.
Uncalled,
I know.
uncalled,
I'm afraid.
uncalled for, but I had
Yeah.
to get that in. I
Yeah.
had
I
to
know.
get.
No. Well, I mean, yeah. I'm afraid on. Yeah. I don't wish anyone dead, really.
No, me neither.
But yeah.
But
Yeah.
you
I
know,
know. I know the sentiment. I know what you're
it
trying to
had to,
convey. Yeah.
it
Yeah.
had to be said.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, the poor individual has suffered a bit in her life, and yeah, cancer is a horrible thing. And
So much so she became a lesbian.
well, okay, I'm not. Yeah, I mean, okay, sexual preferences being what they are. I mean,
I
yeah,
think
it's
it's more
selfish.
emotional, sir. It's more
Yeah,
emotional.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, yeah, okay, whatever. Um, yeah, it's probably where I feel basically that I don't really care about. I'll be quite honest. Okay. The I believe that somebody in that position should at least be have an understanding of how science works, especially medical science. Yeah. Um, I mean, I don't really give a toss about people identifying as cats, llamas, and if somebody wants to identify as a cat or llama in their own house, yeah, or somewhere, great, knock yourself out. Just make sure
Well,
you,
the thing is, with this thing about the llama,
yeah,
somebody said the other day, I heard,
yeah.
if they become ill, do you have to take them to a vet?
Well,
And if it costs too much to get them well again, do you have to put them down? It's to
yeah.
be, you know,
Well, okay,
to
yeah,
take them
okay.
out of the misery.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is the big problem with this. Yeah, okay, had you assign all this and all that. There is no legal precedence. I mean, that is the other thing. There's no legal requirement for me to recognise anyone on anything what's on their birth certificate or any other legal document. Invariably,
You can bet your bottom dollar that the llama would feel pretty more human in the vet's office as he's approaching with his syringe
yeah,
to
yeah. I mean,
sorry,
yeah,
sorry,
yeah. I mean, no,
just
you
get
haven't
me to
taken
my
me
head down.
telephone. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm marking my words here because there's so much material and only so much time.
I know.
Um, it's yeah. I mean, we saw this in the US, and that's like I say, I don't care about people. I mean, who want to identify whatever they want to identify as male. If a man wants to identify and wear a dress in his own private life,
Let him kick
let
him.
him
Yeah,
be happy.
yeah.
I'm all for people being happy. And I know people, oh, but you don't understand. No, I don't understand. And I don't need to understand. I can accept that you're happy. If you're happy wearing a dress or something else, great. And a woman can dress up as a man.
Just don't
Um,
make me wear a dress.
well, that's
That,
it.
that's what
That's
I'm
it.
saying.
Yeah. And I don't really care. I mean, yeah, I want to be left alone. I don't want to harm anyone or hurt anyone. Um, if somebody feels they want to do something to be happy that doesn't harm or affect anyone else, happy days. Yeah. I used to operate in a safety critical area. People could go and leave work exactly as they want. When they were on one of a site, they had to wear safety um, equipment or clothing that was appropriate to their job, i.e., fireproof overalls. which are not flattering on either males or females, by the way. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, female ones are actually cut in a different way to male ones. I dread to think a guy trying to put on a female cut. And yeah, sometimes the ones for women are uncomfortable for them as well. But so yeah, there are requirements to that, and you have to wear the correct and safe and good fitting overalls or PPE in the workplace. Yeah, but if you want to show up to work in a dress, that's up to you. You go and change and you wear the appropriate things there. Yeah. The one thing I wouldn't do is protect you from ridicule in the there's laws that would protect you, but yeah, you want to you want to stand out and be different. That's up to you. Yeah. Um, I I mean, yeah, what's going on at the moment? I don't think it's how can I put it? I even do not believe that Starmer believes all the stuff around him. It's virtual signaling, plain and simple. It's to make people confused. It's deliberately done to make people angry. Yeah. Um, it's a
I think it's people behind him, man. It's
well,
people
that's what I'm
behind.
saying. That's what I'm saying.
It's not him. It's not
It's a
him. And he doesn't have two neurons to rub together.
yeah,
It's people behind him that's making him
exactly.
do this.
I mean
And
that's what I'm saying. He doesn't believe it himself. He's out there. I mean, he as I said before, he's a technocrat. He's somebody who looks at papers and things like this. What can I get away with? He knows that none of this will stand up in court. Now, as to these people being, I didn't think it was something they'd actually. Yeah, I mean, on a private WhatsApp group, is it really fair? It could be the moment. The trouble is with all these things that are written, it's in the moment, and it's joke. It's sometimes called humor. Yeah. Um, and I don't really care. I mean, if he said, "I wish this person would die" or whatever else, it's horrible. It's awful. Um, the trouble is, these people do have a nasty streak in them. As I said, the one thing I never really wish is for people to die. Anyway, doesn't matter who they are. Well, yeah, unless they're yeah, there's certain there's certain caveats to that, but I'm not going to go into that in this video. But yeah,
I think the social media platforms are what allow people to show their vindictiveness, because you know that if they were face to face with people who they're talking with, they wouldn't say half the things they'd say
yeah,
being at a distance in front of a keyboard.
yeah. I mean, this is the difference between them and us. Yeah, both you and I. We say jokes. The humour you hear here is what we put normally on social media. There's no real stretch on it.
Not for anybody.
Um, yeah, yeah. I'm not going to refute. I'm not going to show you clips of my social media here, but it's a yeah. We do have jokes. Some of it is
I never wanted to be MP anyway.
I've got I'm too honest. I'm too honest and normal, I feel. Yeah. I've got no aspirations at all. Only for the money. Oh, did I? Yeah. Um even that wouldn't be a big enough inducement. Um, which sounds bad as well, doesn't it? It means I want to
Yeah.
be getting more somehow. But
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, again, I think all this I mean, yes, I'm afraid the part it's all gone out of the wash. It will probably it's been things have been coming out about the other politicians on the other side as well, in fairness. So what's good
Well,
what's good for the goose is good for the gander, every which way side. Um, I'll be quite honest, I don't expect footballers to be role models of how I behave, even actors or musicians. Yeah. In fact, I'm a bit disappointed at how clean and decent some musicians are now. Yeah. Um, I want my politicians and, if you like, people of the church, religious people, and I mean that across the board, not just Christians, Islamic, Buddhists, Baptists, sorry, Baptists aren't Christians, Buddhists, or whoever, to show a higher standard to lead the people, lead their flock. Yeah, they're the people. So it's politicians and members of religious, senior members of religious organizations, if you like, institutions to be held in higher accountability. Yeah. It's not I look to them particularly for my role model. My ethics come from within me. Um, but yeah, these are the people that if you're going to go into that type of position, you live up to it. If you can't live up to it, you've got to go. Yeah. And I mean that about taking clothing off people and everything else. Yeah. And breaking, okay, might be ridiculous laws that you've made. I expect you to live up to it and do the decent thing. So yeah, and I mean that right across the board. Yeah. And
I could understand it if he spoke a little bit clearer than he does, but he doesn't. It's still the same. He's still got the same speaking voice now as what he does, as what he did 5 years ago.
well,
She must
evidently,
owe him. She must owe him an awful lot of money because to get paid for results. I wonder how she's going to pay him back. Go on.
yeah, yeah. I'm being very careful here. um,
Right.
yeah, I mean, no, I was going to say, yeah, I wonder what the sessions. Was there a lot of yelling and screaming and repetitive wording during the lesson, during the sessions? You know,
Saying more, practicing the vowels. Ah, e, oo.